Okay, and we are live. Movie Crap Live. Finally. Sorry about the delay there. That took a minute. Let me make sure I can actually hear myself. That was a little weird. Okay. Sorry. Streaming stuff didn't work for a second. Okay. Alright. Hello everyone. Hello L. Vasquez, I believe, Cornbread, Nathaniel Foga, El Mono Loco, Austin, Toon J, 723, Jordan Sluffalo, Twisted Razor, Bruce Parker, Mark Parlow, Nathaniel Foga, if I didn't say it already, Mark Mekazawa, Sinram, Sunspot Mill, Bruce Parker, I think it said Sleepy Time, 4Gap Productions, Zambox 64, Jacob Shelter, Bruce Parker, Adrian, I saw that in the chat. I'm sorry about your dad. I hope everything, I wish him the best. I'm sorry about all that. Will, things are going crazy with the stream stuff, so you might have to just DM me the question on Twitter. And Jacob Shelter, Daniel Rodriguez. Okay, would you kick Elvis in the shins for a quarter? Okay, well that's a that's a good Patreon question right there. That's a good super chat. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Crap Live. We're in this place today. Remember this? We used to do this. Would I kick Elvis in the shins for a quarter? I don't. I both like and dislike Elvis, so I'm kind of mixed on that. But cheers to you anyway, TuneJ723. I mean, did he still rock and roll? A little, but I hope, by the way, I really do hope Adrian the best. I'm sorry about that with your dad. But yes, it's been about 2 weeks, which is crazy. I hope you guys have had a great 2 weeks. It's cool to be back on a Saturday night talking about movie news. But yeah, not a ton of stuff, but I feel like a good amount of stuff. I hope we can fill the whole usual show and everything like that. I hope the camera chills out on the messing with the focus there. It's a little sweaty already, probably because I was worried about the stream thing and all that. And I have another super chat from Nathaniel Foga who says, nice to watch movie crap before I turn 20, and happy birthday, Nathaniel Foga, and cheers to you. But yeah, in the past 2 weeks it's been crazy. On Father's Day I actually got to show Sophie Star Wars, the original cut, the 77 cut, the despecialized cut, which I always find kind of inspirational to watch that as someone who makes stuff, because that movie is so made in post and everything like that it's like, I recommend, if you like filmmaking, rewatch the original despecialized cut of Star Wars. You will be like, oh my, like, you'll be like, how the fuck does this movie, like, is barely held together with like duct tape and stuff. It's kind of amazing, some of the shots in it. I know I talked about one part in the Marshall Lucas video, but yeah, just like, anyway, she liked it okay, but then when my father-in-law came, he was watching Mandalorian, and I think she connected more with that, really, but she did remember stuff about Princess Leia, so that was cool. And we watched Wish Dragon. We went to Coney Island, where we all got sunburned, and I got really sick because I was sunburned, even though we wore sunscreen, but you're going in the water and playing with, anyway, it was not good. So that was why the movie review vote was late. I think I said that. I was fatigued, actually, which sucked. But anyway, Austin asked, what did Sophie think of Katana Wolfman? I should have seen that coming. She loved it. In fact, she hasn't stopped talking about it. I have to get a Katana Wolfman action figure now. So cheers to you. I used a lot of cheers to you, Austin. I used a lot of after sun, trust me, after sun and cold showers and everything like that. Okay, so before we do, I usually do more small talk, but I guess I do have the big announcement that obviously went public since last time I did a stream, that my wife is currently, pregnant with our second child, who is a boy, and who's going to be born at the end of presumably, because kids show up when they want to show up in terms of the being born thing, presumably at the end of August. So that's like crazy news. We're going to have 2 kids run around. Sophie's going to be a big sister. We'll have even more creatures in this apartment. I'll be a dad again and all this stuff. So it's very, very exciting. That's really wonderful. And I don't know. I'm excited to like be able to spend time with the family, with this new baby, with everything like that. It's going to be crazy. I'm going to show him Gary's Dark City DVD at least 20 times. But it's going to be a wonderful moment. Sorry. And we're starting to get stuff, and it's just a wonderful, it's going to be wonderful. We'll see what happens with everything really when he comes out. However, the thing I wanted to talk about, if you hadn't seen that, maybe some of you didn't know, it was on Instagram and Twitter and so forth. If you don't want to follow me on those things, that is fine. But I know some people just watch me on here, and some people don't know all that stuff. So I wanted to make sure everyone knew. So the other thing is this channel. I'm still going to be putting stuff up on this channel. This is not one of those where it's like this YouTube channel's over or something like that. But obviously, I'm going to go through a pretty major life change and everything like that. And I wanted to address this kind of at the beginning of the stream because there was always a lot of speculation last time in terms of pizza party, all that stuff. So here we'll just like clear the air and all the announcements, all this. It's not twins, Zodberg. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not twins. Anyway, so doing this stream is wonderful. It's been about 2 years since I started doing it. I don't think I've taken more than a week off. Am I right? Am I right about that? I think. But it's going to be very hard to do that with both a newborn and, with a newborn who's probably not going to have a sleep schedule. If you've never had a kid, you'll understand what it takes a while to understand how, the sun and moon and sleeping thing works. As well as just that we're going to have extra people helping for the first 6 months or so. There's are you going to name him Jim Jr.? Jose Powers. I'm not. That's funny. Cheers to you. There's going to be a lot of people helping because, if you're able to keep a kid home as long as you can for the first 6 months or so because of the risk of SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome, we try to do that. So there'll be, grandmas and grandpas coming in and helping and staying here. And it'll be very hard to do a stream during that time because there'll just be more people and people need to like sleep sometimes and stuff like that. So I will get to your discount. So I wanted to announce that I will be doing the stream until July 31st. After that, it'll probably be on hiatus for a bit. I might be able to do a stream, like a random one, later in the year. But I'd say it's probably going to be on hiatus till about 2022, which is next year, I believe, right? Right? That's how it is. It's not something, it was like my own choice. I think even my family members were a little shocked because I was like, well, I can't, there's no way I can do the show and do a good show and do as long as I want and all those things. And it's just not going to really work out. So, it will come back. It's not over. I'm not canceling it. There's nothing like that, but it just can't exist in the way it, okay, there's a couple of super chats I need to get to, but that's what's going on. Sorry, I'll get to the super chats. Let me finish this part. But I really love doing this show. When I say that, first off, it's been amazing these past 2 years. It's like, it is my Saturday, basically. I think about it, I go over the script and everything like that. I don't know if there'll be it might have another one, a random one after the 31st. Might happen, but that's a might. So nothing there. I will probably be doing premieres for basically everything after the stream is done, just to like keep in touch with you guys and everything like that. Discord's a great way to hang out and stuff. As well as, that's what's going to happen. But the 31st will be the last stream for a little bit. So if you always wanted to be on a stream, I want to try to do one every Saturday in July. and then it'll be over for a little bit. So if you've wanted to be here live, this July's your chance. I think we have 4 shows after this and everything like that. So it seems like everyone's being pretty cool about that. But it was, just to be clear, everything in terms of my videos and when I schedule to do stuff, I mean, obviously family says things and has opinions and stuff, but this was my own choice. I think everyone thought I would do it longer. There's a couple of reasons for that. The Saturday after is my wedding anniversary, and doing a stream instead of hanging out with my pregnant wife seemed like a really awful idea. Like that's sad. But yeah, and then like parents, it just like, to me it was like, I just want to end it in a clean way. I don't want to like have 2 weeks off and then a random one, and there are other projects I'm working on and other cool stuff that I can't really talk about right now because it's not done enough to talk about. So that's what's going on. I hope it seems like everyone's cool about that. But let me get to these super chats and I'll talk about other stuff that's going on. First, Discount Viscount says, will you name your son Norm? No. But cheers to you. And I like this one, Austin. I did read. Austin says, will you get him the X-Men comic that came out the day he was born? I didn't think of doing something like that, but that's actually kind of a cool idea. Maybe I will start to do that. That's a cool idea, Austin. I like that idea. That's really cool. Cheers to you. So was it Jim DeBaby Gisriel? Yeah, DeBaby. Like, I listen to a lot of Dua Lipa because someone mentioned him on one here now when I edit a lot, and DeBaby's levitating verse is real bad, but then Missy Elliott's levitating verse on the remix, amazing, and no one's heard it. It sucks. Anyway, okay, other stuff. I want to make sure I get to everything because I just want to like clear the air. Well, let me just talk about Pizza Party for a second here. So I'm not leaving Pizza Party. That's never happening. As long as there's a pizza party in my mind, I'd like to be on it. Pan and Izzy are aware of this, basically. But at last, when Sophie was born, I was like, came back, and then I left because I got a new job and stuff. If I'm ever not on Pizza Party, it's honestly not because I've never not done a pizza party because of drama. It's always because, like, I do this YouTube channel, I work for other people, do all sorts of stuff, and then I'm cleaning the apartment, I'm playing with Sophie. Sometimes when we do it, I'm just like fucking burnt to all hell, and I just don't think I can like keep up, with the podcast. Like, it's just like I'm just burned out, So I know since I probably won't be on it for a significant amount of time because of this, I just want to say, like, if I got a lot of messages last time that, Nolan said something or Izzy did this on Twitter or something. That's never happened. If you've ever read that on some forum, I'm here to tell you that has never happened. So if you ever hear any stupid drama about that, it's fucking not true. I can tell you that right now. And I find it obnoxious because I've never said that to anyone ever in the history of my entire life. So whatever. Other things, I'm sorry, I'm just going over this so everyone knows. Thank you, Jordan Slow. Dua Lipa does have great songs. Let me do for you. Name your son Mulch Jacobs. Thanks, Aid Powers. And Box 64. At least Bugs wasn't casted by a celeb. True. Okay. Around the time my son's born, when Sophie was born, I took about like almost 11 days without posting anything, which is pretty long for me. It'll probably be about 2 weeks. And the only reason it got to be 11 days is because I actually posted something like the day before we went to the hospital. So that just sort of worked out. So it might be about 2 weeks. So if you suddenly don't see anything from me, that's probably why, just to like clear the air on that. Since I won't be doing movie crap, I would still like to do kind of the movie crap shorts. I really like doing those. I think those will still go on. September will be a bit of a whirlwind. And then the journal videos, you might see, check the dates when those get uploaded, because you might see the Oscar ones go up earlier. It's not going to take a year to see those. They'll probably go up earlier. when the new kid's born. So they'll be, just check the dates on this, and I think that's everything. Anyway, and obviously, like, Shang-Chi will probably be late and stuff in September, but just be patient. And I have filmed stuff in advance, and I'm going to be filming stuff in advance. So, because it'll be harder to film stuff. Filming reviews is different than doing a podcast and stuff like that, because it's a shorter amount of time. So I'm still able to do that. There'll still be stuff coming out. September will be iffier. I think October will come together, but you never know with the kid. Just please be patient. But I want to say, I really appreciate all of you, everyone who watches and likes the videos and hangs out, and if you're a patron or not, whatever. But if you're here, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And you guys are great. So I just want to say that. So I'm excited to go on this adventure and everything like that, but I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on with the channel. And I think that's everything. All right, sorry, we talked about that for a little bit there. Sorry, small talk went on. So let's do Patreon Discord. So this and everything I do, I will talk about Star Wars Visions first, do not worry. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, basically, either through Super Chats during the show, or on where I take a chug of Red Bull when you send me a Super Chat, or through my Patreon, where you get all sorts of stuff like Skype calls, More Power in the Movie Review Vote, which you should vote on, that's out, as well as postcard, Skype calls, More Power, exclusive videos like my commentary series, and everything like that. If you are, of course, financially able to do so. If you're not, and you're just watching, or you like the... Okay. And you like the video, that's always appreciated. Or subscribe. If you turn on notifications, you can know when the instant premieres are happening and everything like that. But any sort of support is always thankful. Sharing, tell your friends about it, or just if you're just watching and you're just hanging out watching the show and you just like it, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I really gotta say. Also, with the Patreon stuff, anything that will be affected with the baby being born for Patreon, I'm going to make a separate video about that for patrons. So nothing major, and don't fret. Also, the Discord, an amazing Discord, which is run by Austin and Zane Powers. They do an amazing job running the Discord, whether it's general, where I post things about like the segments I'm doing tonight, which is Pikachu's Vacation and 3 Fast, 3 Furious. They knew about that a couple hours before and stuff like that. There's Ask Jim, there's suggestions, they do watch-alongs, they do all sorts of cool stuff. If you like hanging out in the chat and you want to hang out with people there, then you absolutely should. And also Cornbread made his prediction on what the thumbnail will be. He does. So if you want to check that out, you should as well. It's a great community, and they do a great job running it. Hello, Nina Garcia. All right. So let's get into actual news, right? Let's do that. Is there anything else? I hope I addressed everything. Right? I hope I did. Okay. Let's say I did. Let's say I did that, and everything is good. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is the thing that came out right today, which I was a little surprised by. We got a little sneak peek at Star Wars Visions. This is a Star Wars show that is going to be presented as basically an anime anthology show. And we kind of learned what that was going to be. We didn't really actually know what studios were going to work on it, what it was going to fucking be, when it was going to come out. Apparently it's coming out on September 22nd on Disney+. The trailer didn't make it look like it was ready for September 22nd, but that's what they say, and they're Disney, so whatever. But I was like, of this year? Because that doesn't look like it's done enough for this year, but all right, guys. But one of the studio, I don't know all the studios, and I'm sure people in the chat will get mad at me and say, Jim, you reviewed this thing or whatever, but I did see Studio Triggers on there. It seemed like they had 2 different projects, one of which was Twins, the other one I think was Elder, I believe, if I'm wrong about that. I only got to watch it once before the show because of when it came out. I don't usually I like to watch things I'm going to talk about at this length a couple times, but I didn't have enough time. So apologize for that. But it looks really cool. One of the things I think that Star Wars, and I was actually listening to, one of the things that's interesting about Star Wars is how much the animation has taken over that franchise. Like I listened to this podcast about Star Wars called Blast Points, which is really great. It's like actual a good Star Wars talk, not just like about how like they hate The Last Jedi. They just love everything Star Wars, and they do a good job. And they did one about droids, but they were talking about there's more animated Star Wars content. Like they shouldn't call it Star Wars animated. They should actually just call the rest Star Wars live action. And I was like, that's a good point. There is so much of it, but I do think this looks really cool. It's a good way to push the franchise, and I think they need better voices. There was the one animation director who said it was his last project, which that was interesting. I didn't know who that was actually. I don't think I did, but this just looked this looked really cool. This looked really cool. I'm so excited for this. I know I need to watch more animation stuff. I have a coworker who's always like, you need to watch Love, Death, and Robots, and I like don't, which I need to do that. Since I've finished Harley Quinn actually this past week, season 2, which that's a damn good show. But yeah, it just looks really cool. It looks really great. I'm really happy with what they're doing with Star Wars. I need to watch more Star Wars animated stuff, so maybe after I watch this, I'll finally watch Clone Wars that isn't made by Gendy. But this just looks really amazing and awe-inspiring. I'm a little surprised we didn't get to see as much finished animation. I know anime production is different from American animation production. At the turnaround times depending on studios. I am curious, like, it did seem a little odd that they said the end of September. Like, I was like, really? Like, but this trailer doesn't look like, if you wouldn't release a trailer like that. I don't know. That's the one thing I'm confused about. Really. So, I'm just confused about that whole thing. That part doesn't make any sense to me. However, it does look really cool. I was hyped before, but actually finding, like, I think this is the first time we found out who was going to be involved, and we saw pictures of it and everything, unless there was another report I'm forgetting. And it looks awe-inspiring. It looks like, I think Star Wars is lending itself to TV a little more. Sorry, I thought I heard something. All right. So, Quentin Tarantino said a lot of stuff this week. Especially about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because he's promoting his book, the novel version of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The deal with this, and I want to preface this bit of info, and I definitely talked about this. Hold on. Will as a super chat said, Love, Death, and Robots really picked up after the first season. Jennifer E. Nelson's episode was a truce. I didn't know she did one. That's interesting. Okay. I'm down for that. Out September 2020, fill in the blank. That's a good point. That's a good point, Ryan. That's a good point. Or it says September. Oh, did they mean like next year? I got the. You know what's funny? They didn't mean. I'm a stupid idiot. They didn't mean. No, but that's a Wednesday. They said this year, doesn't it? Doesn't it say this year? That's a Wednesday when they release things. See, now I'm confused. Anyway. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan. Or what? Right? Everyone's confused me. Thank you for the super chat, Will. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Thank you, Will. All right. Is it this? But that's a Wednesday. That's when they post stuff, right? Now I'm just lost. I don't know. That would make more sense if it's next year. Yeah, I don't think it's said to September. They said this year, right? Okay. Thank you, Ryan. You freaked me out. All right. Let's move on. So, Quentin Tarantino has the book out. He's promoting his novel, and he's talked about all this stuff he wants to do with the world of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Sorry to Will, right? But why is he talking about this so long? It seems, and he talks about movies for a long time. He does press for a long time. He's always been known to do that. But why so much this one? Well, there's an important part of the negotiations when he signed that deal with Sony, in that he actually gets the copyright back. Like, he gets the full copyright in 20 years of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Sony only gets part of the copyright for the next, like, I believe it's 20 years. And he was given other rights to things, meaning he's making more money off of this movie. Like, he got bigger cuts of things. I'm sure when he came up with the novel and the play thing, he's getting cuts of that. So he has a financial interest in having all of us talk about him on Twitter, all of us, bring up the Bruce Lee thing again, thinking about watching this movie again. Like, he needs to keep this as big as he can possibly can, because he is going to be making a ton of money. Now, call me cynical about that, but it's kind of interesting how much he's pushed this movie, considering that he does get way more money off of this than he's ever gotten on any film he's ever made before. And he will eventually own the rights. So it's like in his vested interest to talk this up as much as he can while it's like semi-relevant, because then he will make more money. And that's really what's going on here in my mind. I know that might not be the coolest thing to say, but it is. He has talked about the play version that he's going to be working on after the book. He's going to exploit the fucking hell out of this shit. Because he can, because he gets more rights to it, because he signed a crazy deal with Sony, which is also why why Warner's wouldn't sign. He wouldn't sign with Warner's. Warner's wouldn't give him that, and Sony would. So to my understanding, I've heard people say, who knows? Like, I'm sure nobody wanted to call a Sony executive and be like, hey, did you give Tarantino the novelization and playwrights? And I'm sure no one's gonna ask them that, but yeah. Zane Power says, I can't believe Tarantino is motivated by more cash. True. So I think he is getting more money off this. So cheers to you, Zane Powers. All right. The other thing, the Bruce Lee thing, I did touch about on this on Twitter. So if you didn't know, I had heard from people who actually worked with Bruce Lee over the years, and had said when he worked on Green Hornet, he was a little arrogant and so forth. That's always been a rumor I have heard for the longest time. And so, so when I saw the scene, I wasn't surprised, because that's been the rumor and the myth for forever long. It's like, that's always been what they've said. However, it gets a little confused, because I remember asking people about that, and they said, well, he just done like Enter the Dragon and stuff. I was like, well, that's not right. Like, what? Or he just done The Big Boss, something like that. So basically, what I think of the whole Bruce Lee was sort of a jerk or arrogant or thing is it's told by people who were mostly stunt coordinators, who were then had to complete, all the style that they were doing before Bruce Lee showed up was different. And then Bruce Lee shows up and it changed. And of course they fucking hate that guy. So I think a lot of it has been colored by he became a legend, and post that and became this big thing, and they'd have to talk about him all the time and all this stuff. And I think a lot of it is colored by that. But I also think, like, I get what Tarantino's doing, and he's using the myth of Bruce Lee, not using, like, the reality of Bruce Lee. Because anytime you read about the reality, it doesn't actually sound like he was really that arrogant. Like, it just sounds like he might have been frustrated by any actor who knows martial arts who is then put in a Hollywood thing finds it really annoying. And I even remember reading Jackie Chan didn't love doing the first Rush Hour because of that and stuff like that. And I don't think it's arrogance. It's just like, if you can do a certain thing and someone won't let you, you're probably like, gets sort of annoying. But it sounds to me like he was sort of actually respectful when you talk to people who really want to talk about the real guy. But when they mythologize him, they make him to this thing. Do I think there's some racist undertones to the whole thing? Abso-fucking-lutely. I think it was a dumb move from Bruce Lee. I get when he's like saying, everyone else can shut up but his daughter, and it's like, okay, that's a cool quote. But I do think, like, he might have just said, I was going with the myth. I sort of screwed up there. I should have thought about how that myth became the myth it was. And it's also like, why does his guy need to, trick Bruce Lee like that? It's just like, what's the purpose of that? Like, you think you could beat Bruce Lee? Like, come on. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, I just find that to be really arrogant and silly and just like really stupid. And I get it's a Hollywood mythos thing, but there's like other Hollywood myths you could have used other than that one. It's just like, I just whatever. As well as I will say the interview he did with Joe Rogan seems to be more like posturing and stuff, and I didn't listen to all of it. I just more heard clips. But the interview he did with Mark Maron, when he talks more about his father, which was actually really interesting, and his stepfather really influenced him, that I found to be really interesting. So if you are going to listen to a Quentin Tarantino interview that came out this past week, I would recommend the WTF Mark Maron one. Joe Rogan is, you've probably heard me I don't really love Joe Rogan that much. Every now and then I've heard him do a good interview quote or something, but overall he's not really my thing. But the Mark Maron one I thought was a little more interesting, a little better. He gets in stuff about his dad that I didn't know and clears up like how he felt about Premiere Magazine. Basically what happened is like he never spoke to his father, very rarely. And then Premiere Magazine published an interview with his father who he had never spoken to, which is like really poor, I don't know, just a poor management decision in terms of Premiere Magazine. And I had heard a lot of people wouldn't work with Premiere Magazine. I never understood, like, I didn't think they were that bad or anything. I mean, they're not amazing. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. So anyway, that was kind of interesting. I didn't know that. So if you ever wondered about that whole thing, I recommend it. All right. So Space Jam. We had 2 Space Jam, the new Legacy scenes, and they were like some of the cringiest crap I've seen. It was awful. It was really awful. I have had bad feelings about Space Jam: A New Legacy for a while, but these were really bad. I guess we'll go first. There was 2, unless there was more. But Space Jam, the one with the notorious Pig, which apparently have a rapping contest at some point. I don't understand, like, why is Porky Pig rapping? But here's the thing, I was thinking, so it's really awful. He does this rap. It's like, it's really bad. Like, he's just like, it doesn't, first off, I don't like it in movies where you can hear people rapping. Can we get someone who can like actually rap, like do some of these things? Like, I don't want to hear theater kid rap. I don't, that's not hip hop to me. That's not rapping. Just like, that's just talking fast, if you think that's rapping, like Michael Stipe in The End of the World as You Know It is like, Lil Wayne's a Millie or something. I just like, it's like ridiculous. But I hate that. And then that he's the notorious Pig. But then it's also like, why are they doing a rap contest in the middle of a basketball game? Like, I thought Space Jam was about good old-fashioned basketball with animated characters and whoever is the major basketball person, I'm assuming. No, it just, there's so much about it that I hate. But I was thinking about it today because I rewatched it because I hate myself apparently. And why not have Porky Pig's like, doing the Porky Pig thing, and then have an actual, get like, Lil Wayne or Eminem, or like get somebody who like could do a crazy, just, I guess Lil Wayne's not what he once was 10 years ago, but get someone who, or like Kendrick Lamar, get someone who like could spit a verse and suddenly you'd be like, oh shit, what the fuck? And then it'd be like crazy. That'd be hilarious and you wouldn't see it coming. But instead it's like him talking about like he's been big since 1935. I don't give a shit like that. I just like get like, how funny would it have been if it was Ghostface Killah? If Ghostface Killah came on and rapped Porky Pig, that would be hilarious. Like, what I find really interesting about when people make hip hop jokes, they're like, see, I said sup y'all, and I'm like, wouldn't it be funnier and you could honor the culture? Anyway, yeah, that would be crazy if it was like one of the Wu-Tang Clan as Porky Pig. Wouldn't that be fun? I think maybe everyone's against this. I don't know. Ryan Welch said with a super chat that he said, I can't stress enough that the original Space Jam soundtrack had Billy West as Bugs rapping to lyrics ghostwritten by a young... Okay, let me explain this. Young Sean Jay-Z Carter. It's not a young Jay-Z had like 2 albums out. So he ghost wrote a lot of stuff. He wrote a Dr. Dre song also. But cheers to you, Ryan Walter. No, I know about the Jay-Z. It's still funny though. Yeah, why didn't Jay-Z, did he ghostwrite that Porky Pig thing? I hope he didn't. But thank you, Ryan Walterson. But yeah, he ghostwrote a lot. But yeah, I guess he ghostwrote there too. He's a good rapper. Yeah, they could have had Jay-Z do it. It would have been honoring the original. At least it wasn't My Name is Porky Pig and I'm here to say, oh my God. You know, it could have been. It was not that much better than that. She just kept this going. The other scene was Granny is like doing a scene from The Matrix, which I'm not sure if they put her in. It was the 90s, so still young. Okay, all right, Ryan. Fair enough. I feel like a lot of these streams are me and Ryan correcting each other. Tyler the Creator as rapping Porky instead. Okay. Cheers to you, Nanbox64. So the other one is, why are these so far away? What is wrong with me? It's like really far. The other thing is who's Granny doing the Matrix. She was being Trinity, and she does the whole Trinity thing, and then Speedy Gonzalez is there. Speedy Gonzalez, who, like, we can't have Pepe Le Pew, but Speedy Gonzalez, okay, like, I do not understand the line with this movie at all. And Speedy Gonzalez doing the bullet time thing, at least that's like, okay, I'll meet you halfway on that. But the Granny thing, I do not get the joke of like, haha, old people like thing that old people not like. See, funny, because old people not do that is like not, it's never been a good joke. It's funny when you're a kid, and I guess like maybe this allegedly is a kid's movie. Even though every parent's been like, hey kids, you want to watch it? They're like, do we get pizza? I don't know what. It's just, Speedy is loved in Mexico. Is that true? I've heard that. I'm curious. I'm gonna have to ask. I guess is Pam the only one I know who would know that? Anyway. That's like sort of racist, but also accurate. Anyway, I'm going to back away from that. But it just looked like really stupid. It looks cringy. I don't get what this movie is trying to do. I think this movie is going to be a disaster because I don't know any kids that want to watch it. I do not think anyone wants to really, like, it's just like, do I really want them to, like, why is like the whole Granny joke, like they're really pushing her too, like with her with the like haters gonna hate and all this stuff. Like, what is going on with that character? Just think, like, you have so many good Looney Tune characters, and you have so many good Looney Tune characters. We love Speedy. Okay. Okay, I guess people like Speedy. Slowpoke Roger. What is that? I don't know what that is. We have a super chat from Ro. The Matrix teaser thing was even weirder to me because back in 2001, the Looney Tunes already did a parody of it when they made a bunch of weird Flash cartoons. Look it up. That was a thing. I will look it up. Maybe I'll review that next time. Okay, I will look it up. Well, I will. That's interesting. Cheers to you. Thank you for the super chats. Very generously. But yeah, you have all these good characters, and like, we're just doing Granny jokes. Like, I just don't get it. Jim, you're offending. You're just offended because you're an old man. True. Thank you, Sam. We killed a Red Bull, and Ryan Wilkerson said, because Speedy and Space Jam and the Monsters at Work, Gary memes. This is the week of Gabriel Iglesias. Yes, that is true. Oh God, you're right. And Gary, thank you, Ryan Wilkerson. And Gary, former owner of Dark City on DVD, says it's just Ready Player One again, which is true. I'm not looking forward to Space Jam. I do not expect great things from the Jam. Come on and jam. I don't think it's also like I also think this is like a thing that is just not going to matter to kids nowadays as much, because I don't think I really like, and this isn't about like LeBron as a basketball player. As a kid, I'm like the realest 90s kid ever, as everyone knows. And there was like Michael Jordan stuff like in my elementary school. Like it was just like everywhere. And like I don't see the same thing with LeBron. And I'm not saying like I think he does a lot of good stuff with like getting those like voting sites and the basketball arenas and stuff. Like that's great. And he seems all right. I don't whatever, but like he seems fine. It's just like I don't think Michael Jordan being pushed the way he was is something that I just don't think you could do as much. So I'm curious how you could do that. And same with like, there's so much when you have these, whether it's like Babe Ruth when he was in that Harold Lloyd film, like when you look at like major athletes who do the big movie thing, and I think LeBron is like that big enough. I think before when they did it, they're so mass marketed and they're so all over the place. And I just like, LeBron wasn't doing McDonald's ads, and you know, it's just like I don't quite see it to be the same one-in-one sort of thing, and I don't think it represents the same thing to kids nowadays. Also, kids don't really watch commercials anymore, so that's probably the other thing. It's like if you wanted, everyone had to know Michael Jordan in the 90s. Now like Sophie and all her friends just like do something else while the commercials are on. Like they barely watch commercials because of streaming. So I just don't think this is really going to have much of an impact. But we'll see. I haven't seen it yet. We'll see. And I hope Michi's there. You know what? Every time we've done a stream about Space Jam, I wind up watching that video about Zendaya is Michi. Like that's what I do before I said no thank you to everyone who came out to Movie Crab Live and all that stuff. I have to watch Zendaya is Michi. It should have been Michi, Malcolm and Michi. Why was it such a better movie? I'll keep thinking about that. All right, so we have a bunch of Vin Diesel said of things. We're going to report it. He says because he does own YouTube ads sort of do count as commercials, but they're so targeted, I don't think they are. But that's a good point, Empathy. So Vin Diesel has said he's definitely down to do another Riddick movie. Mind you, he owns the rights to Riddick, so of course he is. If I was Netflix, I would do it, to be honest. But I've actually only seen Pitch Black and Riddick. I've not seen Chronicles of Riddick. So, yeah. And then, which I don't think anyone really likes the Riddick stuff, but I'm sure he's looking at that as like, well, the fast stuff's gonna end soon. So until they make Dom and another character, or just Dom. And he said on Kelly Clarkson he had wanted to do a musical. He was close to doing Guys and Dolls with Spielberg, which was true. That's not, a couple of people were like, ha ha, and I'm like, no, that was actually a real thing. But he said he would do a Fast and Furious musical. But the more fun thing, which I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, but Hollywood Reporter posted the Japanese titles for the Fast and Furious films. So don't worry, I will not try to read Japanese. These are, so when films are released in other countries, it's not called Fast and Furious. They give it a different title because language and stuff. I don't really know, but they do that. So here are the titles in Japan for the Fast and Furious. The first one is called Wild Speed, of course. The second one is called, sorry, we don't have a lot of news this week, Wild Speed X2. The third one, Tokyo Drift, is Wild Speed X3 Tokyo Drift. The fourth one is Wild Speed Max, which is called Fast and Furious, not The Fast and the Furious. So that one is called Wild Speed Max. Actually got a different title. Fast 5 is actually called Wild Speed Mega Max, which I do like the name Wild Speed. Someone's got to do that. And then they can call it Fast and Furious in Japan. Fast and Furious 6, Wild Speed Euro Mission. Better title. Furious 7, Wild Speed Sky Mission, because they're in the sky a lot. I love it. These are great. The Fate of the Furious, Wild Speed Icebreak. Again, but after they get to Euro Mission, these are really great titles. Okay, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. You're not gonna believe this one. It is Wild Speed Super Combo. Oh my god, how much is this is better? And then and then F9 is called Wild Speed Jet Break. All of these are better. I don't know. I would say after once we get the six, Euro Mission, Sky Mission, Ice Break, I like Super Combo, man. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was the real Fast Furious news. It's doing well. I saw it because of, yeah. I saw it. Let's just leave it at that. Thank you, Cornbread. That's true. Jim, we don't have a lot of news this week. Jim, an hour later. Man, we're running late. Okay. Sorry. Let's go back. ToonJ7237 super chat said never knew. Hold on. Said never knew Speed had so many sequels. Cheers to you. I always heard they're trying to make a Speed 3. I always sound like a rumor. Ryan Walterson, speaking of Speedy, Slowpoke Rodriguez is Speedy Gonzalez's cousin who only appeared in 2 cartoons and then appeared infrequently in other stuff. Okay, that's what that is. Thank you. Thank you for that, Ryan Walterson. Cheers to you. I forgot if we talked about this. I think this happened post the last one, that the Transformers movie that we thought was going to be the Beast Wars is the Beast Wars. It's called Transformers Rise of the Beasts, which I think is really cool. I actually also like that basically that I do think a lot of these properties like Transformers and Power Rangers that keep making shows, we only acknowledge the initial bit of fandom, and as these properties continue to be franchises, we really shouldn't be doing that. Like, in all honesty, I don't think that's fair. And I also think it's like you have fan bases of all the other ones. Like, I know Izzy's a huge Beast Wars fan, so it makes sense they're doing that. But this one, which is directed by Stephen Caple Jr., is going to have Anthony Ramos from In the Heights and Dominique Fishback. We'll have Ron Perlman, who's going to voice Optimus Primal, and Optimus Prime. Apparently, Peter Cullen will also be in as Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime are different characters. So that actually sounds really cool. I'm really excited for that. I think that was a good place to put it. I think Stephen Caple Jr., I'm curious what he can do. As Creed 2 wasn't amazing, it's sort of just a regular kind of Rocky. I mean, it's Creed, but it's just a regular sort of Rocky movie. I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, but I remember it was decently okay. I think this would be a good thing. Like, it seems like from my understanding, I actually haven't heard any quotes from him, but to my understanding, he's a Beast Wars fan, and I think that would actually be really cool. So Ron Perlman's a great voice for a Transformer, and I think it'll be really cool. And having him and Peter Cullen possibly do dialogue together, like, how cool is that? Like, I would hang out at that dinner party and they just tell stories. Actually, can we just remember that show Dinner for Five that Jon Favreau did? Could it just be Dinner for Three and it'd be Jon Favreau and Peter Cullen and Ron Perlman and they just talk about life? Could we just do that? Like, that would be cool too. But this Beast Wars thing sounds fun. I'm excited for it, and this is also good news for it. Will says Vin doesn't... Will, as we were chatting, he says, Vin doesn't have my respect until he crosses over the Riddick and Fast series. And how dare you, Jim? Pitch Black is fun. And the teen games are genius. I don't know what that means, but I'll take your word for it. Pitch Black is fun, but it's just not like Fast and Furious. I'll rewatch. Pitch Black, I don't think about that franchise very much. But that's true. He should cross him over. And he could, since he got the rights back. So cheers to you, Will. All for a Tokyo. It's interesting how important Tokyo Drift is, because not only did Vin get the rights to Riddick, that's what introduced Justin Lin to the franchise. So it's like that's really the nexus of society is Tokyo Drift. So in kind of universal horror news, we had the trailer for tie-in games. Okay, sorry, I'm an idiot. We had the trailer for Halloween Kills, which looks really cool. I don't know if I hope they keep this up. I'm a little hesitant on the, hey, it's a sequel that's as good as as best as a sequel to this thing could be, sort of thing. It does look cool. I'm excited for it. I'm not a huge Halloween franchise fan. I'm a fan of the original, but this looks like kind of a cool follow up. I'm curious how they're going to do it, but I love that shot of them going like, no, don't, don't, don't let the house burn down. Um, but it. I did the fire scene, the scenes with the firemen when he's killing them. That actually looks like it could be cool extended, but we just got like clips of it and stuff. But it actually does look really cool. And did I see the woman from Borat? Like she's in that, right? Like that seemed like it was her. I didn't look it up, but it looked like. I mean, you barely see her, so this is less of me mistaking someone and being like, I don't know, they both have arms. But it looks cool. I'm excited for that. I hope Busta Rhymes beats up Michael again. Oh, Michael will be like, give me some more. Sorry. All right. Cheers to you, Austin. We also learned that Jason Blum and David Gordon Green are making a sequel to The Exorcist, much like what they have done with Halloween. Here's the thing about the Exorcist thing. I like the original Exorcist. I've seen it a couple times throughout my life, but I never got like why this is a franchise. Like I just don't see it. Like I just think we should let that go, but I'm curious what they can do with it. I think this is becoming Blumhouse's thing. I don't want it to become too much of Blumhouse's thing because I understand it's very profitable. But I think there's just like I don't know if that's like a great idea, but I'm a little curious about it. We'll see what happens. Is Friedkin going to be involved too much? Didn't forget if he is or not, but just seems to. We'll see. The other thing, and this I found interesting. I didn't see a lot talked about it, but it was reported this past week that there was a Jaws reboot was actually pitched to Steven Spielberg by Universal. They said reboot, not remake. I'm going to put in a lot of. I'll say this. I think the way it's been written about, you can kind of 2 words, Morgan Creek. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, of that company? Yeah, that's true. True. Cheers to you, Box 64. So this Jaws reboot, I've heard forever that Spielberg wouldn't let it happen past Jaws 4. That there wouldn't be any more sequels and everything like that. But I think, here's the thing, what I think really happened. I'm making this up. I'm going to say that right now. It is Universal. Who has a first look deal at Universal? Jason Blum. What did I just report on the Exorcist news? I purposely did this in this order so I could do this narrative. However, here's what I think happened. They saw the Halloween thing. They looked at what is a franchise that's under Universal that's still a huge movie, and if we could make a really good Jaws follow-up, would probably open pretty big. Right? So I think Jason Blum and them went to Spielberg. They're like, you can produce it. We'll have you be involved. We'll have someone else direct it. Here's the idea. And he was like, no, guys, I have integrity. I directed Ready Player One, motherfuckers. And so I don't know what happened, but he nixed it. We don't know what the plan was. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was an idea of the Jason Blum thing. However, other reporters have said this is a recent thing. Amblin, who are Spielberg's actual company, said this happened a while ago. Don't act like this is news. They're basically, anyone who's worked for him said this happened. This is not news. This is not a new thing. This happened a little bit ago. So I don't think it is what. It seems like Universal kind of wants to be like, hey, see, there's interest on the internet. And Amblin's just like, shut up. Like, you did this. Why do you bring this up every 2 years or something? So I don't know, like, when this was pitched, what the deal was. I mean, Halloween was a while ago, if my theory is correct. But it doesn't sound like it's going to, that would happen. I don't think it should, to be honest with you. And I do think Jaws has a bit of a name, but if you were going to be like, hey, it's a Jaws sequel and we got the right director, but it's like so risky, and unless you had like I don't know what the premise would be, because unless you're going to make it stupid, so Um, all right. So, Biz Markie. If you hadn't heard, Biz Markie did not die this week. You might have seen on my Twitter really quickly that I was like, it sucks about whatever I said, but I deleted it because it wasn't accurate. He is in hospice. He has diabetes. He's not doing that well. But I was posting some Biz Markie stuff because I was like, you know what, we should honor Biz Markie more. He's a great rapper. I put Vapors on my Spotify, and the Snoop Dogg cover of Vapors is actually really good too. I gotta say, nobody talks about the Dogfather, but his cover of Vapors is really great. But after I did the Tunerific Tariq video, I was listening to Pick and Booger because the first two Biz Markie records, like I had those CDs and I listened to those a lot, and I've been listening to them on Spotify, and they're fucking great. But I maintain, I said this before, that Big Daddy Kane and Biz Markie were friends. They seem like they would not be, but they're like, Big Daddy Kane wrote a lot of stuff for Biz Markie. Like, I think Big Daddy Kane doesn't get enough respect as well, but that would be a great like detective team because Biz Markie's like the wild card and Big Daddy Kane can be like the straight man lady killer. Like, oh my god, amazing. I don't fucking, why were people in the early 90s so racist and stupid? Like, you would have the greatest detective movie ever. Like Big Daddy Kane and Biz Markie. I will never forgive America for this movie that I made up in my head 30 years after it could happen. But, been so cool. Been so cool. Fucking sucks. Anyway, but Biz Markie is in hospice care. He might not be doing great. But what I say is, let's hope he pulls through. Let's hope he's doing fine. And listen to the Vapors. Don't listen to Just a Friend. Too much. Just a Friend is great and all that stuff, but that is not Biz Markie. If you listen to his records, that it's like an outlier song. Listen to Pick and Boogers. Listen to Vapors. Listen to the first two albums on Spotify. Do that. It's fucking good. Like Biz Markie made some good shit. He hung out with the Beastie Boys like for a while. He's all over Hello Nasty. Like, guy is a legend. Fucking legend. All right. So we learned that also the Men in Black 2. I gotta say though, it's interesting when it looked like he was dead. The memories of Biz Markie have nothing to do with Just a Friend now. It's like Men in Black 2 and Yo Gabba Gabba. So it shows you how much he reinvents himself over the years. So we learned that Noah Hawley is working on an Alien show, which this actually sounds cool, although it's so vague, like who the fuck knows. It says, if the movies are about the people you send to do the dirty work, his show is about the people who are sending them, basically being about Paul, the Paul Reiser character in Aliens or something. I think that'd be interesting to get more into that because they've done so many of like, let's send people to the planet. And I've only seen one season of Fargo, which I liked. It was like season 4. I did it in a weird order, I guess. But that sounds like something you could have interesting ideas with on a TV show. And I think like there's only so much you can do with a movie. And I think Disney is probably looking at that property and going like, well, how could we do something different with it that's interesting? And I think it's a good way to sort of reboot it in a different way. But it is about inequality because he was bringing that up a lot. And I think that's true. And I think that'll be actually kind of a cool idea to talk about the socioeconomic issues that are inherently in the Alien films. They are there. That's not inaccurate. They're on kind of like, they're sent to do a job. They're basically like an oil tanker or some shit. So I think that'll be really interesting. Oh, the non-binary neckbeard. Okay. Wow, that's a fucking name. Said, evening, Jim. First time donating, but I've been watching for a while now. Cheers. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Thank you for being here. Cheers to you, the non-binary neckbeard. That is a cool name. And I hope you have a good night. And thank you for the super chat. Cheers to you. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So, as always, we got to talk about any little crumb of details we have on Star Wars Detours. So, Seth Green noted, I forgot where he said it. He's doing some interviews. He was also on, Michael Rosenbaum has a podcast, and I haven't listened to the podcast, but I listened to the Clip YouTube channel, and I like that Clip YouTube channel. Let me tell you that. Because he does get a lot of interesting people. I should actually listen to a full podcast. But he said about Seth Green, not Michael Rosenbaum. Sorry, tangent there. Seth Green said about Detours, he said, well, there are 39 episodes that are finished for broadcast, but we finished them almost 10 years ago. And so there would have been a bit of reconfiguring of the existing stuff to make it something that Disney Plus would release as a Lucasfilm offering. And the way it's been explained to me, Seth Green, who's talking right now, is that there hasn't been enough interest high up enough to go through what it would take to pull it out. And that there isn't an interest in releasing this content on Disney Plus from Lucasfilm. But he also goes on to say that he's not like bitter about it. He got to work with George Lucas for a bunch of years. He's happy that he got to spend time with Lucas and on Lucasfilm and everything. He doesn't seem like anyone worked on it has regrets. It doesn't sound like they're going to release it. However, I will say, and as I will plug Blast Points again, I should really send a tweet promoting them because they're great. But they were talking about how for years they never thought the Ewok movies would come to Disney Plus, or droids or Ewoks. So I think the Star Wars vintage section is probably where this would go. I do think they set that up for a reason so they could have the weirder thing. I don't know, like, spending a lot of money on doing the Muppet Show has a reason. You know what I mean? But doing it for Detours, which, like, as much as we like to talk about Detours, we know Detours is going to suck. Like, this isn't a good show that we're talking about that's not released. It's just interesting that they made so many and then it just never got released. I think Disney is, like, making a myth out of it. Maybe they're like, well, put it out eventually or something. But I don't think the fandom, like, this thing is probably really bad, and I don't think it has enough fandom to go. It's also, and I've heard this from people, if you went to the Star Wars Celebration that was before the when Disney bought Star Wars, this was like the biggest news. It was like a Star Wars that was before, like, it was becoming like Star Wars Angry Birds and Star Wars Pez and stuff like that. So this is like a Star Wars that, like, has long since been forgotten. So I just don't think, I don't know. I do think I understand why they're distancing themselves from it, but I could see in, like, another 5 years or something like that. I also wouldn't be surprised if it came out at some point, like, randomly. But, you know, it sounds like they are considering it. Like, it's definitely on a list somewhere, and they're like, well, why not? You know, I don't think it's impossible, but I don't think it's going to happen soon. But it's interesting that Seth Green at least gave us somewhat of an update. So, before we get to trailers and stuff, Clifford the Big Red Dog had a trailer this week. He's a dog, he's big and red, whatever. Jack Whitehall has an American accent. I don't think any of you know who he is. Why cast him? He's an English comedian. I've watched 2 shows he's on, Fresh Meat and Bad Education. Why cast a guy like him to play an American actor when they could have cast me, someone who never acts in major feature films and doesn't have a name that's recognizable at all? I don't know. But we're not here to talk about Clifford the Big Red Dog, really. There's a shot at the beginning of this trailer that puzzles me. I talked about this on Twitter, and I will continue to be confused by this. Because there's a beginning where she has a bunch of trash. She comes to school at this rich Manhattan school. She has lots of money. She lives right on Central Park. I was going to tell, I don't know if you know the real estate realities of New York, but let's just say you live around there, you got money. That's basically the reality of it, especially going to a school like that that's private. You know, that's like that show Gossip Girl. If you know that, people got money. So anyway, she goes to school. She's trash. She's a bag of trash. And then this girl, this popular girl, I'm assuming says, like, why do you have trash at school? Like, what's with the garbage or whatever she says. But then the trailer doesn't acknowledge it. So what am I to believe from this? Like, is she a weird person who bought trash to school? But then I was like, but what if it's a recycling drive? But if it's a recycling drive, that isn't weird. And she would be the weird one because, like, it's recycling day. Like, why are you complaining? Like, if it's recycling day, it would be everywhere, and this would be a theme thing that your teacher would be pushing. Like, are we to understand that no one at this school, a school in liberal Manhattan where all these kids are going to go to other schools, would not be recycling? The believability of this completely falls apart. The Big Red Dog, fine, whatever. But the trash thing, I cannot emphasize enough how much that destroys everything for me. It's just like why is the trash? Where is the trash? How is the trash? I'll never know. And it's just like, I don't understand it. Because if it is recycling day, it makes sense. If it's her science project, it makes sense. But is she a crazy person with trash? Am I supposed to watch a trash girl tell me about a big red dog? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Bruce Parker says, I'm the trash girl. I throw my trash around the school. Sorry. That Box 64 says, featuring a BTS song in the trailer. I don't know BTS at all, so I will take your word for it. Cheers to you. That is my one-man show on a 2-second thing in the Clifford trailer. Trash analysis. I was joking. I should have just done a segment that's like 100 reasons why this shot makes no sense in the Clifford Big Red Dog trailer. It really doesn't. Just don't. From the Ryan Welchison says, from the director of Van Wilder, Wild Hogs, Old Dogs. I forgot. I love that the person did Wild Hogs. It also did Old Dogs and Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Trip. So I've seen 2 of his movies. I don't know any K-pop. Actually, there's a store on my walk to the subway that is a K-pop store. It's a real thing. I'm like, oh man. Cheers, you're right. It's fun. And anytime I walk by it, I joke to people that the reason they have a K-pop store is if you travel through time and you wind up there, you're like, oh, a K-pop store. It's 2021. Okay, I get it. Like, that's the only reason that store exists. Anyway, so trailers and stuff. We got another trailer for Hotel Transylvania 4. Sophie finally saw the trailers for Hotel Transylvania 4. She's very hyped. She loves those movies. We actually watched Hotel Transylvania 3 also recently, and I like that movie a lot. It's just cartoony fun. But that was really good. The Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, which is super weird because that was a cartoon. Trailer looks really cool. I didn't watch the previous cartoon, but it looks cool. The Tig Notaro animated comedy special trailer. This was interesting because it does remind me, like, sort of, I guess, like something like Dr. Katz did, or Knock Force, which Dr. Katz was a big influence on Knock Force. Don't ask me how I know that, but that it actually looks cool. I'm actually kind of interested in that. I don't know Tig Notaro's stuff very well, but it seems like an interesting idea to do with a whole special. I think people have done what Dr. Katz did, which was just take a segment of stand-up. This is doing a whole stand-up special. I don't think anyone's done that before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like a cool idea. There was a sneak peek of the Patrick Star show. It looks like fine. I don't know about that. And then the Many Saints of Newark. I've gotten a lot of requests for this one, which I'm confused by. I didn't know so many people were Sopranos fans. That's good. I really do like The Sopranos, but it does seem like not the greatest. I don't know. It just seems like a bit of a confusing, like, what. I don't really understand, like, why I need a prequel to the fucking Sopranos, but it does look interesting. His son, Gandolfini's son in it, actually looks pretty good. I'm curious, but I'm also like, I don't know. It's like, and Ray Liotta, that's a bit obvious, guys. I don't know about that. The Don't Breathe 2 trailer, that looks better than I thought it would. A little interested, to be honest with you. There was a trailer for Cinderella, which stars what's her face from The Thing? I don't know. I think she's in a singing group, and then they sang with Elmo. And then she was also in Casey Musgrave's Christmas special. I don't know her name. Anyway, it's a musical of Cinderella. It's just like, I don't think we need more musicals of Cinderella. Why this is a movie, I don't understand, but it's on Amazon Prime. Jellystone, the Jellystone trailer. I thought it looked really great. People who are upset about it, guess what? You don't like cartoons, you don't like animation, you don't like Hanna-Barbera, so maybe shut the fuck up, because it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. I like it when all the Hanna-Barbera people get together and everything like that. It looks like perfectly fun modern animation. Don't be mad that you couldn't make a cartoon and now you're just mad at stuff because things aren't like it when you're 12 or whatever. You're stupid. The Q-Force trailer, I just didn't think... I don't know if it was like, I don't know if it was offensive. It was just stupid. And I'm like, I don't fully get what they're doing with it. Like, I did like the Citibank at Pride joke. That was kind of funny, but it just it it just I don't I don't know. It looked a little like one note to me. So, um, but yeah, I forgot C.H. Greenblatt's doing Joe's. C.H. Greenblatt's killing it currently. Like honestly, one of the best directors in animation between Looney Tunes. That like destroying what he's doing right now. Like just everything is wonderful. Just awesome. Um. Let's see. Oh, Master Universe had a second trailer come out. Still looks great. Very excited for that. And then, yeah. And then the other interesting thing that I found out. So apparently, this happens every now and again, that a movie gets a box office bump that came out earlier in the year because of drive-ins, because something had to be paired up with F9. They chose Nobody, and Nobody got a bump from like a huge bump in the box office from F8, F9, sorry, because it was paired with that in a lot of drive-ins, and drive-ins do really good business still because they're COVID safe. So, congrats the movie Nobody. All right, that is trailers and stuff. Now let's move on to Freaks and Geeks, which apparently could have had a second season. They were offered one from MTV, which obviously does not have the kind of money that NBC had at the time, and we're going to offer them kind of a stripped down version to do a season 2. I'm assuming because, and they didn't allude to this, but MTV used to play like My So-Called Life a ton and other teen shows like again and again and again. They're probably like, well, we could make a lot of money and we replay this shit so often and probably do well. But Paul Feig and Judd Apatow were sort of exhausted and didn't really want to make a shitty version of Freaks and Geeks, so they didn't do it. I think it's probably best they didn't. But that with that, like having a stripped down cast or not having the music, although some people said, well, it's MTV, so maybe the music rights would have worked out better, which is highly speculative. But anyway, they don't mean they don't. The Freaks and Geeks thing doesn't mean the second season now. This would have been after it was canceled. Sorry, should have specified after the first season was canceled. MTV came to them and said, we'll do a second season, not a second season now. That would be an awful idea. Okay, so a bunch of kind of award things. The DGA ruled that you can't be up for their awards if you don't do the certain theatrical, like have a 7-day theatrical window thing, I believe. Correct? Let me click on this because I forgot already. So there's a couple things I find interesting about this, but okay, so a critical step for Oscars basically that any film released after June 15th, which already passed, which is kind of shitty to be honest with you, that it must have 7 days before being made available on streaming and digital platforms be theatrical only, which is nicer than the Oscars, but is shitty for, aren't they, like, that's not cool if you got released, like, because this just came out. But, that's like bullshit. But everyone was going, that means Dune can't be nominated. And it's like, look, I don't hate Dune. I want to preface, like, I'm excited to watch Dune, but the, like, pre-excitement for it was, like, real dumb. Because it's like, if this movie isn't amazing or the greatest thing since sliced bread or something, like, so we're sure it's just getting a DGA nominate. Like, we're not, like, let's, like, actually see the movie. Because it was, like, every headline was, like, and now Dune is screwed. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what if Space Jam a new leg? Okay, that's a little unbelievable. But, or, like, I just am like, what the fuck is this nonsense? I just saying it to be, I think it's a little ridiculous. The pushing of this narrative. Like, I hope Dune is the greatest thing ever and everyone loves it and gets best. But we're all doomed. Jacob Shelter. Oh my god. It's just so weird. But I think the DGA, I think it's a shitty rule. But I'm curious if this is a precursor to dumb stuff the Oscars will do later. We also found out the Golden Globes are now making, even though they don't have an award show this year, so who gives a fuck? But they're saying it anyway. They will let musical or their Best Picture nominees be a foreign film can be nominated for Best Musical or Comedy, Best Drama, as well as an animated film. I don't know if any foreign films won those, but I do know that Toy Story 2 and Lion King won Best Musical or Comedy. An animation would get nominated win at the Golden Globes. And so in terms of animation, that I think actually it was a big deal when they separated a category, because that meant animation would get less of that representation. But I'm still like, it's the Golden Globes. Like, you guys lost. Like, just fucking end it. Just end the Golden Globes. It's like awful. I don't get it. And we got daytime Emmy nominations. I don't know about much of them, but in terms of animation, oh, Male Tears. Hello, Male Tears. Just said spice. Cheers to you. Thank you. In terms of animation with daytime TV, and I do not understand how stuff that is on a streaming service can be considered a daytime show, but whatever. Like, really, like, I find that very weird. But for outstanding preschool children's animation series, they have The Adventures of Paddington, Eleanor Wonders Why, never heard of that one, Esme and Roy, Stillwater, and Trash Truck, which I hear is a prequel to the Clifford movie. And then outstanding children's animated show was Amphibia, Craig of the Creek, Hilda, Kippo, and the Age of the Wonder Beasts, and Tales of Arcadia Wizards. That's interesting. I kind of would go with Hilda. Special class daytime animated program, Adventure Time, Distant Lands, Obsidian, Angel's Christmas Wish. Really? That one? Baba Yaga, Here We Are, Notes for Living on Planet Earth. And then Sesame Street got Monster at the End of Your Story with Grover and Elmo was on there. I'm just sort of buzzing through it. We had the voice of Pete the Cat. The voice of Sally the Squirrel in Pete the Cat. Let me press play on that one. And yeah, kind of it's interesting. Adventure Time's getting there so much. DC Supergirl got Best Directing. And yeah, and voice directing for SpongeBob, which I'd agree with. And Hilda and stuff like that. Animaniacs got some, but not enough. And we'll see. Oh, and Animaniacs got a best song as well as Adventure Time Distant Land, so that's cool. And Such a Beautiful Day from Phineas and Ferb got nominated. That's interesting. All right. Wait, did I miss a? Was that the? Okay, just making sure. All right. Now, how much stuff do we have left? Because we do. Okay, we're fine. I didn't become the cliche that I am. So The Weeknd is going to have a show with the creator of Malcolm and Marie, which is how he will forever be known on this show, at least. TuneJ723 cleared up. The Primetime Emmys changed their rules so children's shows can't be nominated for outstanding primetime original programming, even if it aired in primetime. Wow, that sucks. That's dumb. But hey, thank you for clearing that up, however. The Weeknd, the singer, not the measurement of time, said that currently titled, he's doing a show that's going to be called The Idol, which is from the creator of Malcolm and Marie. The series follows a female pop singer who starts a romance with an enigmatic LA club owner who will be played by The Weeknd, who's the leader of a secret cult, which sounds like it could be real fucking dumb, or it could be kind of interesting. We'll see. It sounds like kind of something The Weeknd would be into, but we'll see about that. Then we also found out The Simpsons is going to have a short called The Good, the Bart, and the Loki, which sounds horrible, but it seems like The Simpsons are making these bad shorts. I'm sure I'm going to make it a segment next week. I'm not excited for this. I'm sure it'll be bad. Like, when The Simpsons make references to things, it'd be like in a clever way, it'd be saying something, and now they're just like, look, a reference. And you're like, cool. Taika Waititi and Jeremy Collette are working on a new show. It's going to be an action-adventure comedy. That's all we know. Good for them. What we did in the Shadows show is really great, so that makes sense. And we found out a writer of Succession she's working on, Georgia Pritchett is working on a Galaxy Quest TV show with Simon Pegg, and that's all we know. We don't know if there's a take or who's involved, but that they're starting to get going after Alan Rickman died. They're starting to figure it out with that. I'm just hitting these things really quick. So this is actually big news. The Crew on Netflix. Everyone chat. I would like an L in the chat, and everyone try to calm down. Has been canceled by Netflix. I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. The Crew has been canceled. However, they have closed a new deal with Kevin James, Netflix, for a new single camera comedy for him to produce and star in. Now, if I was Kevin James, and I'm actually a little serious about this is not a joke. If I was Kevin James, I would get everyone who works on my fucking YouTube channel, an F and an L, whatever. Is an L, whatever. I would get those people to make a single camera show. I think that would be a better show. I'm actually really serious about that. Let's do that shit. So I found that I was like, the crew's been canceled. I got to talk about that. We got to talk about Kevin James talk on Movie Crap Live. That's like, you know, the biggest star of Movie Crap. So I'm going to be honest. I did actually know the Salty DK Dan Ducachino thing. I know he's an Alf trader, but I've actually known for a little bit. But that's cool. He runs it. Good for him. Or is that a rumor? Anyway, if it wasn't, I revealed it. Jerry Seinfeld has revealed that he's going to do a Pop-Tarts movie based on his bit about how Pop-Tarts started. This is his first thing playing a role that isn't Jerry Seinfeld. Actually, a lot of people were saying he hasn't done that in years. I was like, I believe he did that in Mystery Science Theater. So I believe his cameo in Mystery Science Theater is the last time he played someone who isn't Jerry, who isn't Jerry Seinfeld. But anyway, it sounds like a sort of dumb fucking thing, but it's on Netflix. We'll see what happens. And then the first 5 episodes of season 2 of Owl House will be on Disney Plus July 21st. I know a lot of people wanted me to talk about Lovecraft Country. I didn't really watch it, so I didn't talk about it because I don't have much opinions on it, but I'm sorry that it was canceled, so sorry about that. And then finally, I just found this interesting, actually. There's actually a Scott Weiland biopic. The guy from Stone Temple Pilots is being developed. I find that kind of interesting. I think that could actually be good if you got the right person. So I would be curious if they got the right person. I think that could actually be. I think that could be something. I'm not a Stone Temple Pilots fan at all. But I was like, you know what? If you did that right, I think that could work. You know, that could work because you could do stuff. You would. He's big, but not big enough, like a Queen or something. That could really work. And we have a super chat. Thoughts on Vin Diesel's hunkiness F9 saved cinemas last week, even though Black Widow is going to make more next weekend. We'll see about that. But yes, it was the biggest pandemic weekend. I think because people like Fast and Furious, and that's a thing you want to go see at the IMAX. You want to go see at the theaters and everything like that. So cheers to you, Daniel Vasquez. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, I do really have to pee. So sorry if I'm pushing this a little bit. But I don't really have obits this week. Oh, like I say with animation, kids don't watch cable. That's true, Nunbox64. That's true. I hope more people check out the Owl House that way. Cheers to you. I don't have a lot of obits this week, but I will say Felice Sampler, a voice actress, died recently. Thoughts and prayers with her family. So, I'm sorry I don't have much to say about her. I just wanted to mention that. So I do have a video to play, which was the slow-mo video that was on my Instagram of Sophie having fun on rides at Coney Island. I thought it'd be a fun thing to play. I had to restart OBS, so hopefully this still works. But we'll see how it goes, and then I will go to the bathroom, and I'll come back and we'll do the segments, then we'll do questions, and then that'll be it. So here we go. Enjoy the video. Is it playing? Oh, you got to hear the weird things there. Here we go. back. I hope people like that slow-mo thing. Did it play? The rest of it play okay? Do people like that? Felix looks sus. Was it new? Anyway, yeah, that was the slow-mo thing. But yeah, we went to Coney Island. It was a lot of fun. Kids, like New York kids, like Coney Island for obvious reasons. And she had a lot of fun. We actually went on a little roller coaster, and we were holding on to each other for dear life. Not a big one, like a little kid one. It was still a little crazy. Anyway, I did wash my hands. But yeah, if you want to watch that more, that's on my Instagram. Sorry, I'm pushing that so much this time. But yeah, I almost thought of putting that out as a separate thing, but I kind of just thought, yeah, should I play it again? I don't think that played right. Did it not? It was just to go and stuff. So anyway, yeah. Okay. Before I get into the segments, what was it? Did you hear that this thing Dave Grohl admitted that the Smells Like Teen Spirit drum beat is from the Gap Band's, like, I believe it's, hold on. I listened to the song today, and it is 100% that the drum beat from, hold on. I'm not going to play it, but the drum beat from Smells Like Teen Spirit was from Burn Rubber on Me from the Gap Band. That is from, like, the whole drum beat is from the Gap Band, and like he took a lot of the Nirvana stuff from like disco bands, like the drum beats. I was like, that's amazing. But yeah, if you listen to Burn Rubber on Me, listen to that, and listen to Smells Like Teen Spirit. That opening, like is from a disco song. Interesting. Didn't know that till today. I've actually learned a couple interesting Nirvana facts. I didn't know that. Anyway, it's a sadder one. I don't want to do it today. All right. No, it's not a sample. Like, he just ripped off. He just used the drum beat, you know. Apparently the guy from the Gap Band Dave Grohl met him, and he admitted it, and the guy was like, oh yeah, I know. Interesting. I used to really like Nirvana in middle school. I mean, I think, did everyone go through that phase? All right, so, you might think it's weird to talk about this Flash short. From back in my Newgrounds days. Oh, here we go. Another non-binary neckbeard super chat said, ever watch The Mighty Boosh? It was this weird-ass British show that used to come on at Adult Swim. I did used to watch that. I watched a lot of weird British shows, but I did. It's not my personal favorite, but I have watched it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, cheers to you, non-binary neckbeard. So, I've not seen Nirvana, the band, the show, actually, but maybe I'll check it out at some point. All right. So, 3 Thrast, 3 Thuriest. When I was on Newgrounds back in the day, in the early 2000s. This was something that I knew I personally loved to watch, and it got front page at the time, which was a big deal. It was like a big cartoon because Too Fast, Too Furious was coming out, and everyone thought that was fucking ridiculous. So 3 Fast, 3 Furious was, I think, maybe the first time I saw a really good The Fast and the Furious is fucking ridiculous video. Like, they're really, I mean, I know this was the beginning of the ridiculousness, but it does such a great job of parodying it. Now, I will say, this was a hit on Newgrounds. The original was taken down at some point. The one I posted a link for on Twitter today and on Discord, that is a re-put up one, which I'm not fully understanding who made this. I gotta say, I have no clue who made this, really. I know the user is Ishmael70. Maybe that's this person. I don't know what happened to him. If you're watching this now, I just gotta say you did an amazing job. I've watched it, like, this is from, like, whatever, when did Too Fast, Too Furious come out? Like, is that 2003? Like, I still watch this cartoon. Like, every time there's a Fast and Furious, I watch this cartoon. I love this cartoon. Basically what it is is the idea that this is three Thras, three Thurius, and they basically do the commercial or the trailer where it's like the new but they say it like the new models are out, and then it's like they do all these like like they use three a lot, basically saying like, you know, adrenaline. He says Thurius, all this kind of three silliness, and some of it like him driving with the girl, and then he like jumps out of the car and jumps back into it in this shitty flash animation way, which works. But then the car animation was actually like sort of decent for the time, or at least I remember thinking that. I was like, man, they actually did. I can't do that shit. But that's a joke on in the Too Fast Too Furious trailer. Him and Eva Mendes. I mean, in the movie too, probably. Which I reviewed. I don't remember that well. Them looking at each other, and then he just drives up and stops, and Tyrese is like, "Hey, that's my move," and they directly parody it. And they make fun of how ridiculous it is. They actually have the car drive through a building, come out, and then suddenly the guy who's supposed to be Tyrese has a ton of money for no reason. And which is funny because they would eventually do that in Fast and Furious 7. So this kind of figured out what was going to happen and the ridiculousness of it. The thing with Fast and Furious is it's always sort of been made fun of after like, how did this become such a thing? Why does it keep going? All this stuff. This is maybe, I know there's been other like 3 Fast, 3 Furious jokes. And if you search that, a lot of time Tokyo Drift will come up because that's the third one, which is bizarre since that's just called Tokyo Drift. But what I like about this is the flash animation, the dumb jokes of it, how it is directly referencing it and kind of using its own ridiculousness for it, but also the idea of like just being like 3 Fast, 3 Third, and just like making fun of like the ridiculous wordplay in it, everything like that. It's just like, this is such a fun little short to watch like every couple of years. Like I just enjoy it so much. Like I really do like it. It's just so funny. The whole idea of it, like the announcer going like, "I can't read that. Like, how am I supposed to?" It's just like so many good things like that. I think they did a great job with this. Whoever made it, thank you. I enjoyed it so much. It's still my favorite Fast and Furious parody, which sounds like it's almost a thing that's beyond parody, but this to me is like one of my favorite Newgrounds shorts of all time. It just utterly ridiculous, utterly silly, and the announcer tried to read these like 3 puns because they have to have a dumb number pun. It's just even funnier. And like I also think like there's so many times in the 2000s where you'd make a dumb extreme joke or whatever, and this is just like no, let's not make fun of that. Let's just make fun of the 3 thing and how silly like this whole thing is. And when you watch the Too Fast Too Furious trailer for context of this, it just like makes even more sense because you're like, yeah, that's really dumb. I remember, this is another Newgrounds memory. I remember getting drunk with the guy who made Place to Feast with me, Zero, and watching Too Fast and Furious and having nachos we made ourselves, which I'm sure were gross, and then watching this a bunch on Newgrounds, because and just like laughing the whole way through it. And I don't remember. I feel like I didn't really remember it from then, but this reminded me of the time of the 2000s where you just put something on and be like, what the fuck is this? What is this? And it just captured that energy so perfectly. So 3 Fast, 3 Furious, I will always love you and thank you for existing. And whoever made it, if you want to tell us some behind the scenes things in the comments, it was a separate video, of course, please do so. I would love to know. And yeah, just some good Flash cartoon memories. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to talk about it. So, Threadlin? Okay, so, next up. I'm actually doing well time. I'm sorry I sped up at the time. It was more because I had to pee, to be honest with you. Pikachu's Vacation. Supposedly, this was paired with Pokemon, the movie. I keep reading in theaters. I think it might have just been on video because I do not remember this in theaters at all. Maybe they did and I forgot it. I don't know. I would imagine they wouldn't want to play this before theaters because you make more money the shorter your movie is, actually. But whatever. Basically what this is Pikachu with Ash, Misty, and Brock they find like basically a Pokemon resort, and he's gonna like go into this Pokemon resort and hang out. You never actually see their faces. like basically even in animation, they can't give enough of a fuck to actually appear in this. Like even as animated characters, they're like, look, we're not lip syncing this crap. Like it was just like we're not showing up for this. So you hear their voices, you don't actually see them, which is very comical. And then Pikachu shows up and he's like taking care of other Pokemon who are Ash, Misty, and Brock, which they don't set up at the beginning, but at the end they refer to them that they're there. And then he has a day, he takes care of certain Pokemon, he does all this stuff, all this, it's whatever. The thing with this is not good. And they really like, they pad this out to such a point that it's like utterly like ridiculous that they thought this was like almost releasable. Like it just, I don't think they really thought about how they would get this to work because they have the Pokedex keep explaining who Pokemon are, which presumably if you're watching this and you're a fan of Pokemon, you most likely know all these people. So like, why the fuck would you need that? So it's like a narration for nobody. It's just really, that was weird. And then randomly they'll cut to like some character dancing around in a background like it's the theme song to Ranma or some crap. And I just like, I don't get this. Like I wasn't 5 when this came out, so it means nothing to me. But it's just like, this was not like what I liked about the show. It's just like, you could have had an interesting thing where like the Pokemon are by themselves and have like an interesting like adventure, just sort of like random stuff they do at this resort, and then it ends, and then they're like, oh, we came to pick you up. And also, like, why wasn't Team Rocket trying to steal them? Like, Team Rocket, come on, Team Rocket. You guys couldn't even. Team Rocket doesn't even try. You know, it's like when I watch this stuff, it's like there's a reason Team Rocket failed, just like America will. Anyway, I find this to be so, it can be fun to remind you of Pokemon, but it was like, this was kind of hard to watch. It was clearly padded out with like these little like interstitial things that kept coming up with the Pokedex explaining everything. It's like, and that wasn't even on screen. Like they clearly like realized this did not work. It was really bad, and I feel like you could have actually done something, which kind of disappoints me. Apparently with all the movies they do kind of a short and stuff like this. I don't know if they're better after this, but since I reviewed Pokemon the first movie, I thought I would do this, and this was unlike Pokemon the first movie, which surprised me in certain places. It's not a great movie or anything, but this is pretty bad. So so I wouldn't recommend this. If you have nostalgia for it, check it out. You might have fun, but I think you'd have a hard time getting through it because it just looks like something that a lot of executives made up people in post like semi make sort of workable, and honestly might have undone it by putting all these like Pokemon dancing in front of things and the Pokedex explaining. I wonder if all that was cut out, like would it be better? And I sort of think it would be. So oh, and then we have a super chat from $9.64 who says, duh, Billie Eilish. Cheers to you, and true. All right, let us get to some Patreon questions. Let's get to some Patreon questions here. All right. We have a good amount of time. Okay, that's good. Jordan Bouchard. First question. Will has a question too. I forgot about that. I will read him after. Okay, there. Whoa. This is a long one. Okay, Will be last. Jordan Richard says, what all have you been watching this week and month, and what stands out the most in your memory for any reason? I did finish season 1. I did finish season 2 of Harley Quinn. And that stuck out to me. I watched Scanners recently, and that was just really amazing. And I watched The Grifters, which was actually pretty cool as well. Let's see, what else? I would say those. I'll probably talk about those on the final what to watch for a little bit. Now I have a question from Austin. Said, question for Movie Crap. What an awesome show tonight. Jim, remember to shout out all the things. Gary tried to steal your Dark City DVD. You did a dad joke. We heard your beat of the day. Anyway, my question. So Addams Family 2 and Hotel Transylvania 4 are coming out in the United States on the same day. Do you think that redundant, and do you think either one will move or delay due to being kind of similar? I do think they'll kind of move. I think they might even move further because there's no vaccines for kids who would be the target demo for that. I would assume Addams Family 2 might, because I've seen way less trailers for that. I'd assume that would probably move right now, but we'll see. Nathaniel Foga has three questions. A little too many, but I will read them all. Nathaniel Foga says, what's something that would make a new legacy a 10-10 for you other than your original idea for a Space Jam sequel? Probably my original idea for a Space Jam sequel, and more like Animaniacs, Tiny Toon stuff, and less like Matrix, Wizard of Oz, to be honest with you. Nathaniel Foga also says, since my birthday is right around the corner, I wanted to know what's a kind of cake you like having on your birthday. For me, it's always got to be some form of ice cream cake. Those are always the best. I usually do chocolate cake, but ice cream cakes are good too. And then said, how old were you when you had your best birthday? For me, it was when I turned 12 and I went to Disney World in Orlando. I don't I don't know. They're all okay. I'm not a huge birthday person. I'm pretty chilled on my birthday. So maybe I'm not the best birthday ever person. I can't think of they're all pretty good. I don't know. It's nice watching Jaws eating pizza. One of those. All right. So now we have the Patreon question from Will, who said, after seeing, okay, here's Will's. It is a doozy, Will. I don't know if I'm going to read this. Okay. After seeing The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, what even is that title? Today I'm absolutely shocked that it somehow wasn't just dropped to VOD or something. That sound editing in it was atrocious. No joke, they used the record scratch the trailers used twice. Obvious ADR as well. Whole thing felt like a fever dream. Can't believe it's a motion picture in theaters, but here we are. Didn't know it was a sequel until seeing it. LOL. Didn't know it was this. Really? That's interesting. Question, though, is do you think we're going to keep getting more of these late rush jobs of movies that were supposed to be released last year where there's just odd technical inconsistencies despite having more time to fix those in post-production? When they are figuring out releases, similar to how Wonder Woman 1984, they just use royalty-free music, an example being, instead of an actual score for some reason. I have heard that before, and I heard they changed a WandaVision scene at the end, actually, recently, this past week. I don't think it is that. I do think it is. Sadly, it's still going to be pretty common. I would say it seems. I mean, they just want to get these things out. You would think they would fix them, but I have read they're like. I mean, they'll probably fix it before it goes to streaming. They do keep working on things even after you see it in theaters, actually. They don't talk about that a lot. I am a little surprised that they've done such a poor job, but maybe the working from home thing doesn't work out for them, something like that. We'll see what happens. What happens with that? But yeah, I do think, sadly, it sounds like I have read that happening a couple times recently, and you would have thought that wouldn't be an issue, but maybe just because everyone's working from home, it's harder. I don't actually know, but yeah, I have been a little surprised that that's been going on. But it seems, I think it will continue. Okay. I think the first one is Bruce Parker. I hope we do this right. Do you have an Independence Day speech for today, maybe on the topic of the crew? No, I don't. Sorry. Cornbread asks, with you now informing us of Movie Live going on hiatus after July until 2022, which I fully support Family First, that's going to cut my Wolfman bit short. Any suggestions for a finale? Oh, I don't know. If you could get the actor who played Catan Wolfman to show up here in costume, that'd be a good one. Not plausible. Team Rocket, America, Team America, World Police. Team America, I guess. Nathaniel Foga, has Sophie ever watched Clifford? No. We have not watched it at all. Major Mekazawa, since today marks the 30th anniversary of T2, did you get to see it in theaters when it came out, or did you catch it on home video later on? And what are some fond memories you have of T2? I did not see it in theaters. I saw it later. I remember I was just obsessed with it, but I would only get to watch it because it's like sort of a long movie, and my brother and sister were younger, and so I had to watch it on a really small black and white TV that my mom had, like, within an extra small TV. So I'd always have to watch it on a little one. And then I remember we were having a sleepover, and I got the director's cut. And I feel like that's probably why that director's cut means something to me, because that's how I first actually saw it in color and with everything. But it's such a compelling movie. I always get sucked into it. I need to rewatch it. It's a good movie. Austin, you watch Pokemon? Yes, I did watch the cartoon when I really did. I watched it like every day with my brother. That's not a joke. I was into the cartoon for a little. I mean, like, I watched it before school and I enjoyed it. I remember one where Pikachu broke his ketchup bottle, and I really liked that one. Jacob Shelter, question: do you think the straight out of nowhere Scooby-Doo crossover will reinvigorate interest for Courage the Cowardly Dog again, with the spin-off still in development? Yeah, I think it would. I think it would help. I'm curious. I think that might be sort of the point, but we'll see. Sunspot Mel, thoughts on Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog? I'm surprised you didn't talk about that one. I think that was last week, so I tried to keep it to this week's stuff. I think it's a great merge of the two properties. I'm surprised it hasn't happened before. I think that's a really cool idea, combining those two. I think we'll see. I think it's just a genius idea. I'm excited actually for that. Zane Powers, describe what a season 2 of Freaks and Geeks made now be like. I guess it would be them in the 90s, and they've all sort of given up on life, so gross. Austin, favorite Pokemon character? It's probably just Pikachu, but I like Squirtle. I'm very basic with that. Nanbox64, favorite Tribe Called Quest album? I'm not the biggest Tribe Called Quest person, because anyone I knew who liked Tribe Called Quest liked no other hip hop or rap, and it'd be really hard to talk to them. So it like kind of was, I believe, like the big one with the lady on it, which I forget the name of right now. Clearly not the biggest fan, so sorry. Question: Cornbread, I now realize that asking you 2 weeks ago to give me 3 Gremlins 3 plot points all at once was too much. So I'll ask you weekly, can I have a new Gremlin 3 plot? The Gremlins decide to take over a 7-Eleven. That's one of them. Question: did you ever learn to drive? No, I actually don't. I never got my license. I never learned how to drive. True fact there. Oh shit, I lost my place. Where were we? Okay. What celebrity or fictional character should guest in Scooby-Doo, and guess who? LeBron James, I guess. Yeah, why not? And Lil Wayne. Not plausible. If you actually made a Creech plushie, would you buy one? Same thing with the Paul Blart plushie. Maybe I would buy the... Sure, why not? What could Space Jam 3 do to get the stink off the brand? Finally do the Jackie Chan one. Like, that sounds like amazing. Do a Jackie Chan Space Jam. It'd be like, I don't know, Jackie Chan Jam. Why not? Why not call it? Did you hear they're even letting women vote now? Nice, in Powers. Modelo Butterfly, favorite patriotic superhero or World War II cartoon? Happy 4th of July. Oh, thank you. I don't know why I said thank you. Maybe the old Supermans, just because I felt like saying that. I don't have a really favorite patriotic cartoon, I don't think. Maybe I'm just a Bill. I don't know. Have you seen the new Soderbergh movie, M-Blood? No, I haven't, but I do plan on doing a review of it. Zane Powers, on the spot right now, give me an idea for a character. He's a guy and he farts all the time. Gilberto Benendez, I hope I'm saying that right. Question about American Motion Picture. Do you think that movie is completely mixed? I saw it and I thought parody elements are a little too much for me. I haven't seen it, actually, but I saw you said it wasn't that great, so I was sort of going to take your word for it. Noah Boozler, is anyone excited for the Owl House Season 2 first 5 episodes on Disney Plus on July 21st? And hopefully it trends like Amphibia. It will mean some merch and more content. We'll see. I do think more kids will find out about it. We'll discover it through there. So hopefully that'll, because Disney Plus is very popular. People do kind of search around there, especially kids. So I think it could work out for it. So I think you're probably right. Zane Powers, should I treat all weird and different people with the same disdain and disgust as iCarly? No, don't do that. Not plausible. Since they remade Space Jam, when will they reboot Luigi's Back in Action with Tom Cruise replacing Brendan Fraser just like in the movie? I will say, I recently read that Tom Cruise was trying to be in the Roger Rabbit sequel that the Best Movies Never Made podcast or whatever it's called covered. And apparently, yeah, Tom Cruise was very much going to be in the like troop tunes thing. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. They probably won't actually make Back in Action because I don't think it's that popular, unfortunately. Sorry. Cornbread, because of what you said earlier in the stream, it got me thinking, what if Borat versus Michael Myers? Would this be the thing to overthrow Freddy versus Jason? Yes, it absolutely would. Nathaniel Fogg, what's the superpower you want? I guess probably to fly. Same powers. What things about Hayao Miyazaki's parenting style will you adopt? None of them, other than showing Totoro a lot, I guess. Embla, have you tried pitching a project from a major studio before? Wondering for advice because I might need to do it soon because I need a real job. LOL. Knock Force was pitched to networks. We did not get to pitch it, so I have not actually pitched stuff, but I helped with the pitch book. I helped advise on it. I helped talk about it. We didn't get to pitch that time, so I don't actually know. Oh, good night, Austin. Oh, sorry to see you go there. Okay, how do you feel about the future of the MCU? I don't think it's in a great place. Tanofuga. Let's see. Release the butthole cut. Thanks, Oddberg. Have you heard of... Hold on. Wait, where are we? Have you heard of Chris Stapleton? Sounds familiar, not in box. I'm not sure where. Zane Powers, now that Bill Cosby is out of jail, what project will he be working on next? I hope nothing, but yeah, it does sound like he's trying to do something. Daniel Foga, would you name your son Paul and or Creech? No. Zane Powers, how do you even describe the villain from the Hulk movie? He's some kind of abomination. Nice. Okay, let's see. Did anyone have... we'll just stop. We'll just end on this one. Should 4th of July be canceled? Probably, but everyone has fun, so why not? Why not keep it going? Just cause, I guess. Anyway, I want to say thank you everyone for the generous super chats tonight. Thank you everyone for being really cool and really nice and everything like that. Yeah, I will most likely be back next week. I'm hoping everything will work out to do the rest of the month. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on, but most likely that's what I'm planning to do. The next video will not be till Tuesday, yes. But I hope you all have a good 4th of July. If you don't have to celebrate America. Don't just think of the fireworks as just boom explosion things and ignore the America part. Just watch a cool movie and have some food with people and get drunk or whatever. Just look at it that way. I for a long time just look at it as a way to get an excuse to get together with people. It's not it doesn't have to be about America. It can just be about chilling and hanging out with your friends and having a good time. I think there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. That's of course if you are American. If you're not, then do that anyway. It doesn't have to be a patriotic movie. You can just chill. Anyway, I didn't notice Izzy. When was Izzy? Was Izzy here? Did I miss Izzy? I'm confused by that comment. Was Izzy here earlier? Did she call? No? I'm very confused. Anyway, I have to go. It's over. You guys have a good night. I will see you next time. Enjoy the video on Tuesday. And stay safe out there. And I will see y'all next time. And subscribe if you would like to. And have a good night, everybody. Peace and good luck. Why not?